So I don't need to teach you guys how to make splints. I'm just going to show you how to do different splints with these products and what makes them unique. So I'm going to make a dorsal blocking splint like one that you'd make for a flexor tendon repair. As you know, with a flexor tendon repair, you have to be in the splint full time for 6 weeks. So if the splint is hot and heavy, that's a big ask, and lots of patients end up taking them off. If you can make something that's really lightweight and comfortable and ventilated, they're more likely to be compliant with splint use. So I'm going to use the classic, which is the one with the large wide weave. First thing I need to do is just measure the length of the material that I need, and I'm going to double that over to give it the increased strength. You could add on a couple of centimeters because it does shrink a wee bit. And you can cut X-Lite with any scissors, don't have to be fancy scissors. I'm going to put those two pieces together into the splint pan. So your water bath is going to be at 70 degrees. And you're just really wanting to squeeze the edges together. Now the neat thing that I've learned about X-Lite is that the heat is actually the water. The heat is not the material itself. The material doesn't get really hot when you're molding it. I'm just going to squeeze those edges together. And then I'm going to pop that in there for a minute or so. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to put a splint sock or an underliner onto the patient's hand. I like to put a bit of foam padding over those MCP joints. Take the material out. Just squeeze out the excess water and really squish those layers together. The material itself is not hot at all, so it's really, really comfortable on the patient. Pinch your edges of the MCP joint, getting into whatever position your protocol dictates. You typically have the wrist in neutral, have the MCP joints about, straighten your fingers a little bit more, about 50 degrees flexed and the IP joints extended. Just molding it as you would liver plastic normally. You get a really, really strong seal on those hinges there by squeezing the layers together. I'm going to cut the rest of it off the patient because I don't want to do it while it's on there. You can take your crayon pencil, you can just mark there where you want to cut, and then come back and cut it with scissors once it's cool. So now when that material is gone hard, you can remove it, make the cuts. Doing it that way, you should have no sharp edges, but you can just wave the edges over the heat gun. And just soften them with your finger. And if there's any areas that you think might potentially rub, like around the thumb, you can put some edging tape on that area if you would like to. So what you've got is a very light, comfortable, well ventilated splint that's very, very firm. There's no way you can straighten your fingers out of that splint. Then you'd put your straps on just as you would for a normal dorsal blocking splint.